Welcome to the Friday, June 17th broadcast. My name is Aaron Dykes. I'm sitting in while Alex Jones is away on story. But of course, it's a huge news day. Once again, we are tiptoeing into World War III as the heat is on for Libya. We confirmed earlier in the week that military personnel have seen a flare-up in Libya, plans to mobilize big troops by October and September. Really scary stuff as the rest of the Mideast continues to fan into flames and possible World War III begins to start. Also on the immediate front is the Greek debt crisis and the possibility of that spreading to Portugal, Spain, Ireland, host of other countries. The U.S., of course, also vulnerable. We are also only a few days out from Bilderberg, the 2011 meeting. I traveled with Paul Watson to St. Moritz, Switzerland. He'll join me in about 30 minutes, and we're going to recap some of the most exciting stuff, talk about some of the stories, and we'll also be joined by the Infokrieg German activist, Alex Benesch. Also coming up later in the broadcast, Bob Chapman. But for now, we are looking at everything cyber, the possibility of a false flag attack, maybe to initiate this World War III scenario, possibly just to help them clamp down on the Internet. It's just one of the many important things that we know came directly out of the Bilderberg agenda in 2011. I've got all those details coming up. We're going to go deep into it and why they have so many tech people at Bilderberg now. Everyone from Bill Gates to some of the Facebook founders to some of the most important PayPal executives to the cyber people. Keith Alexander, head of a post created in the United States just last year, I believe, to deal with these cyber attacks. One of the most important people shaping up in Bilderberg was not an attendee this year, but the heir apparent to David Rockefeller. He, of course, is getting quite old and frail. His 97th birthday occurred, actually, during this meeting. But his heir apparent, John D. Rockefeller IV, better known as J. Rockefeller, the senator from West Virginia, he has been incredibly hot on this cyber issue for more than 2 years now, saying things are so dangerous we should have never even invented the Internet. I, of course, disagree. We have to preserve the Internet at all costs and fight for it. We're going to get way into the Libyan war, Robert Gates' outgoing warning about the subject, and incoming Leon Panetta, who wants to have even more secret wars. He wants the CIA to take control of certain aspects of defense spending and defense authorization so we can do more assassinations, targeted killings, covert operations, all like the bin Laden raid that went real well, which was, of course, almost entirely contrived and made up. Also, we're going to get, as I already mentioned, way further deeper into the secret Bilderberg agenda leaked by the Mole, some of the information posted on their official website, and we will cover many, many of the attendees at this year's meeting. All that is coming up after the break. We also are going to debut a video Alex left us with as he left to cover his story about the initiating World War III, how dangerous it is that everything is happening at once, and they have decided to go hot in Libya. Not just so-called advisors and background troops and special forces, but actual ground troops are rumored and confirmed by many of the military callers we've had this week. So we really hope things don't heat up into a bigger war as America now takes on about 5 wars, including Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Yemen, Pakistan, and a whole lot more on the way. That's all on the other side of the break. You don't want to miss this broadcast, even though I'm sitting in. Aaron Dykes, Infowars.com, back on the other side. So we're back again on this Friday, June 17th at Infowars.com. And again, I'm Aaron Dykes sitting in while Alex is away on a story. He will be back live on Sunday. I'll mention that a few more times. Just a moment here, we're going to go to an exclusive video premiering here for the first time Alex left us with about this grave, just terrible World War III situation that is developing. But I wanted to mention we have a new newsletter at InfoWars. It's called the InfoWars Insider. You can sign up on the right hand of the page. I'm at InfoWars right now looking at it. It's a bright yellow banner, the InfoWars Insider. It's going to have special reports, hot news, inside scoop. Today, this Obama launching World War III video will be premiering at the newsletter if you've already signed up. And then on Tuesdays, we're going to have continuing insider World War III coverage every Tuesday, at least for the next little while here. So you want to sign up for that, get some of the inside scoop of what's going on at the InfoWars Insider. Let's go now to the Obama launching World War III video, if we have that ready. Alex filmed it yesterday just on the way out, and it's really something that's weighing heavy on my mind also. We have that ready? Yeah, let's play that, please.
My friends, we stand at the precipice. The entire world is rushing towards World War III by any measurement or definition. The private offshore banks that dominate Europe and the United States are invading countries all over the Middle East, North Africa, and trying to start a war as well with Pakistan. This is all happening as the world economy is imploded and as the private central banks openly announce a private corporate bank of the world that our carbon taxes will be paid into. Our sources inside the Pentagon, in D.C., and at Fort Hood, Texas, as well as others, have confirmed that major armored divisions out of Fort Hood and other bases are set to be sent late in September into October into Libya, a full-scale ground war. Meanwhile, Obama comes out and says he doesn't need any authorization from Congress and that Libya is not a war. Now he's threatening to go into Sudan. They've got warships off the coast of Syria, and our media and senators are openly calling for war. The Russians are threatening to respond. Now the CIA has expanded drone attacks in Yemen, and that government, a supposed ally, is toppled. The former darling of the establishment, Hosni Mubarak, the 31-year dictator of Egypt, was overthrown by a U.S., British/Europe-backed military coup, and citizens are being arrested en masse. No protest is allowed. This is amazing. Al-Qaeda-backed forces in the east of Libya are now being augmented by U.S. and British special forces. But it doesn't stop there. Pakistan, months ago, told the United States, stop your thousands of drone attacks. Our country doesn't care. It's going forward with a supposed ally, driving him into the hands of China and Russia. U.S. warships have entered the Black Sea. Russia is saying that this appears to be a provocation. China and Russia are warning that wider conflicts could erupt from this. The word we're getting from our military sources and officers is that they've been told that basically a giant war in North Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia is about to be launched as a political smokescreen for the financial collapse that's happening in the West, because they know populations in Europe, England, and the United States and Canada will rally around the government as the Depression intensifies if they're in the middle of a war. Also, the establishment can use staged terror attacks or provocateur attacks or real attacks launched by Muammar Gaddafi as a last-ditch effort to hold on to power. That can then be used to take our liberties domestically here at home. We're seeing the rollout of the TSA on the streets of America. We're seeing open spy groups being formed through pastors and lawyers and community organizers to spy on their fellow Americans. All of the classical forms of tyranny are now unfolding. And a giant multi-region war that will undoubtedly suck in China and Russia is now being launched. That's why they gave President Barack Obama, right after he got into office, the Peace Prize. They knew that all these new wars were going to be launched, but that they would be called peace. This is Obama's global peace tour. First, he sold as this anti-war liberal The planet bows down before him after 8 years of warmongering and lies about WMDs by George W. Bush. And then Obama launches new conflicts across the globe, but dubs them as humanitarian and bringing peace, and tells the world giant mushroom clouds and huge buildings being blown into pieces is not war, it is humanitarian liberation. And the controlled corporate dinosaur media said, you don't understand. These new wars are not wars. These are kinetic actions. And these are to bring peace. We were told Al-Qaeda were the good guys in the east of Libya going after Muammar Gaddafi. We were told that bombing their cities and killing thousands was humanitarian. And now we're told that a new war, peace action needs to be launched against Syria, and U.S. warships are waiting off the coast. Obama says he's concerned about what's happening in Sudan, and there might need to be a military bombardment there. Yemen is being carpet bombed by hundreds of Predator drones. And the media says, look at our peacemaker, look at our king, look at him, our great new General Obama. He doesn't need Congress for authority. He has the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, last year at Bilderberg, and again just a few weeks ago at Bilderberg in St. Moritz in Switzerland, our sources who've been very accurate in the past have reported to us that this is part of a global destabilization program that is meant to lead to not just a multi-regional conflict, North Africa, Middle East, Central and South Asia, but to engulf China and Russia in destabilizing color revolutions. But the globalists won't stop there. They must destroy every nation state. They must destroy every currency. They must destroy every economy. So the entire world bows to this world government George Sorosian program of order out of chaos and the private global banking cartel that you will pay your carbon taxes to. It is happening. Meanwhile, it has now been proven, what we first reported last year, that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives for the last 2 years knowingly helped ship semi-automatic firearms by the thousands to Mexico in an attempt to then track the weapons back into the United States and connect them to violence in Mexico so the federal government could call for a total ban on all semi-automatic firearms, as they have now done. This is incredible. Another example of staged terror, another example of a frame-up, this time targeting the Second Amendment. And CNN, the Houston Chronicle, you name it, has now reported on the fact that over 28,000 people have been killed in Mexico in the last 2 years, that the Southwest in the United States is now more dangerous than the worst areas of Eastern Europe for kidnapping. Mass graves have been found all over Mexico and on the Texas and California-Nevada border with dead children. It's now been confirmed that Western-trained, U.S.-trained Los Zetas pull over buses full of Mexican civilians, men, women, and children, rape the women and kill them, kill the old people, and take the teenagers and have them fight to the death in gladiatorial games, a form of trauma-based mind control. They then take the winners and train them as assassins. So understand, more people are dying a year on the Texas-Mexico border than died each year in Vietnam. A true war is going on. A completely collapsed society, a failed state, expanding into the United States, and it's not even on the radar. The media barely reports it. They've got their own giant armored vehicles. It's a full-on war financed by the criminal megabanks that are on record laundering more than $376 billion in just the last few years, are waging a war of drug consolidation, knocking out their competition in Mexico as the Latin American drugs are fed through southern North America. World War III is here. The whole world is going into crises. The domestic police state is unfolding against the people of our republic. We must take back Washington. We must take back our states. We must identify the fact that offshore private corporations have now hijacked our government and are using it as an instrument of global destabilization to bring in their world government on the ashes of our once free society. All of you Democrats that loved rebuking Bush for war, I certainly rebuked it as a constitutionalist. But all of you that thought it was trendy to be anti-war, now is the time to understand that we are at a serious crossroads and that Bush was only laying the groundwork for the next puppet that would come, Obama. Obama, the man of peace, the man of desolation, death, and destruction.